Ever wondered if your inner talk is shaping your outer world? I mean, really shaping it.
Hmm.
Well, according to the mystic Neville Goddard, it absolutely is. Welcome to Monkey Mind Mechanics.
And welcome to the Timeless Wisdom Podcast here on the channel.
Today, let's explore one of his most, well, transformative teachings. It's called the mental diet.
Yeah, it's a fascinating concept, often misunderstood maybe, but incredibly practical when you dig into it.
Exactly. So today we're doing a deep dive. We really want to unpack how our inner conversations, the stuff we say to ourselves.
And our imagination, too.
Right, and imagination, how they aren't just idle thoughts floating around. Goddard saw them as, well, dynamic creative forces.
Forces that are actively, meticulously architecting our reality, day in, day out.
Meticulously architecting, I like that. So our mission today is really to give you a solid, scholarly, but also accessible overview.
Educational, yeah. But also showing how these timeless principles aren't just abstract ideas.
No, definitely not. We want to offer practical, actionable steps. Stuff you, the modern seeker, can actually use to navigate your world, maybe even consciously shape it.
And we've got some great source material to draw on for this. We'll be looking at excerpts from works like Imagination and Inner Conversation, Architects of Reality, and The Mental Diets, Mastering Your Inner World Study Guide, also The Creative Power of Imagination.
Plus, we've got transcripts from Goddard's actual lectures, too, right?
We do. And what's really striking is how, all these different sources, they point to this incredibly unified, profound perspective.
It really feels like it has the potential to fundamentally shift how you see your own mind.
Oh, absolutely. And by extension, your entire experience of reality.
Okay, so let's dive in. Where do we start with this foundational premise?
Well, right at the heart of Goddard's teaching is this core idea. It challenges, a lot of how we normally think about cause and effect. That our inner conversations and our imagination, they aren't just passive. They are the primary architects, the builders of our reality.
Primary architects. Okay, so not just influencing things, but actually building them.
Exactly. Dynamic, creative forces, always working, often subtly, shaping pretty much everything in our lives.
So when we talk about the centrality of inner dialogue, it's more than just positive thinking mantras.
Oh, much more. Goddard takes that old wisdom, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he.
Right.
But he really drills down into the mechanism. How does that thinking actually happen?
Oh.
He emphasized something specific about the tracks our thinking follows.
Okay, what was that?
He said that man's thinking follows the tracks laid down in his own inner conversations.
Tracks laid down by inner conversations. Okay, unpack that a bit.
Well, think of it like this. It's not just the thoughts you're consciously aware of having. It's the deeper stuff. The often unconscious dialogues running in the background.
The background chatter.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine your mind as like a train, right? These inner conversations, they're the railway tracks.
Yeah.
And whatever tracks you lay down, consciously or unconsciously, that's the direction your thoughts, your mental train, will inevitably go. It's this continuous, often silent internal chat that directs the flow.
So these mental chats, whether we notice them or not, are constantly being, what was the phrase, outpictured all around us and happening.
Precisely. And for Goddard, this wasn't just some nice idea. He treated it like a science, a law.
Really? Like physics?
He actually called it a formula. He said it was not more certainly provable than the formula of this science by which words are clothed in objective reality.
Wow. He's basically saying our inner speech is as predictable in its effects as, gravity.
That's the implication. A bold claim, absolutely. But the implication is huge. It means your inner world and outer world aren't separate.
The inner world is the template.
Exactly, the template.
Yeah.
If your inner words are clothed in objective reality, then your internal story isn't just coloring your experience.
It's creating the objective facts of life.
It is. Cause and effect. Cause is internal. Effect is external circumstance. Always.
That's tough for a lot of people, I think. We're so used to thinking things happen to us and then we feel a certain way inside.
Right. We think external dictates internal. He flips it completely.
For the world we live in, every little thing is a self-revelation of our own inner speech. Like our inner monologues are broadcast.
And then echoed back to us as reality.
Yeah.
Makes us creators constantly, even when we don't realize it.
Which leads us straight to imagination. And this is where Goddard gets really, audacious for some.
He states it so clearly. Your own wonderful human imagination is the God of the universe.
The God of the universe.
The causation is all imagination that imagining creates reality. He wasn't speaking metaphorically there.
He meant it literally.
Literally, the creative power within us, what he calls God and man, is our human imagination. No separation.
That's a huge statement. To say God and man is the creative power in man, and then describe it as plastic as potter's clay to the touch of the shaping spirit of imagination.
Yeah, plastic is potter's clay. What does that suggest to you?
Well, clay has no shape until the potter gives it one. It's totally malleable, no resistance.
Precisely. Infinitely malleable.
Mm.
Totally without resistance to whatever form you impress upon it through imagination.
Unlike the physical world, which seems pretty stubborn sometimes.
Right. The imaginative realm is pure potential. It holds no biases, no limits, no fixed outcomes until you give it shape, give it direction.
Which is the complete opposite of how most of us live, isn't it? We tend to, bow before the dictates of facts.
And accept life on the basis of the world without. We let what's happening out there define what's possible in here.
Instead of realizing our inner state is the sculptor.
Exactly. It's a radical shift. From seeing yourself as determined by the world to seeing yourself as the conscious creator of it.
Okay, but what about this inner talking? He says it's unstoppable, right? Like breathing or eating.
Yeah, he points out, we could no more stop talking to ourselves than we could stop eating and drinking. It's just what humans do, constantly.
So if we can't stop it,
Mm.
then what? What's the key insight?
The goal isn't to stop it. That's impossible and probably not even helpful. The key is to control the nature and the direction of our inner conversations.
Control the nature and direction. So awareness and intentional redirection.
Exactly. Think of it like you're running an internal radio station. You can't turn it off, but you can choose the broadcast.
Instead of just letting random static or negative talk radio play all day.
Right. Without conscious control, we just react to whatever old patterns are playing. But with this knowledge, you can act to a purpose.
Meaning you consciously choose the inner conversations that match the reality you want to create.
Yes. Instead of unconsciously creating, maybe manifesting stuff you don't even want.
It puts you back in the driver's seat, changes your sense of agency.
Fundamentally, you go from passive recipient to active, deliberate participant in creation.
Okay, that distinction is vital. Unconscious creation versus acting with purpose. So if this inner talking is so powerful and constant, how do we direct it effectively? What's the core shift we need to make?
Well, this brings us right to one of Godard's most crucial distinctions. It's subtle, but absolutely fundamental to the practical side of things.
Okay.
It's the difference between thinking of what you want in this world and thinking from what you want.
Thinking of versus thinking from. Okay, let's really break that down. Thinking of something. It feels like you're keeping it at arm's length, right? Like admiring something in a shop window you don't own yet.
That's exactly it. When you think of a desire, it stays a distant possibility. The sources say, these states are existent, they are present now, but they are mere possibilities while we think of them.
So they exist as possibilities, but thinking of them keeps them that way. Like you're reinforcing the not having it.
Precisely. You're on the outside looking in. It seems harmless, but psychologically, you're reinforcing separation. Keeping it in the future, not the now. A common trap.
Okay, so then thinking from, that's stepping inside the shop, inside the house.
That's it. It's the active, conscious inhabitation of the desired state, as if it were already real now.
So the sources say, but they become overpoweringly real when we think from them and dwell in them. Overpoweringly real.
Yes. Using the house example.
Yeah.
You're not just looking at it. You step inside. You feel the cool doorknob. You smell the air. You touch the walls. You move through the rooms as if you live there. You embody the experience.
You shift from observing to inhabiting.
That's the pivot. Internally, you move from longing or wishing to this quiet sense of fulfillment. Like, yes, this is it.
And your sense of agency must just skyrocket then, because you're choosing and feeling a reality, not just reacting.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You realize you have the power to do that. And that internal shift, that conviction, is what starts molding the outer world to match.
Okay, so if thinking from is the key, then the main technique is assuming the wish fulfilled. This isn't just thinking happy thoughts, is it?
Not at all. It's way beyond positive thinking. It's inner talking from premises of fulfilled desire as the direct path to consciously create circumstances.
So how do you do that? How do you make that assumption feel real?
It demands deep sensory engagement. It's an act of profound imaginative habitation. He says you have to imagine that you are seeing what you want to see, that you are hearing what you want to hear, and touching what you want to touch.
Seeing, hearing, touching, engaging the senses.
And becoming intensely aware of doing so. giving that imaginary state all the tones and feeling of reality.
So not just a blurry picture, but full immersion. Like if you want a new car.
You don't just see it. You imagine sitting in it, feeling the leather, smelling that new car smell, hearing the engine purr, feeling the vibration. Make it vivid, as real as possible.
And it's not just the senses, right? There's the emotional part too. You have to arouse the mood of accomplishment and the feeling of relief.
Yes, that feeling is paramount.
Oh.
It's called the catalyst that allows the imagined state to harden into fact.
The catalyst. So the emotion is what makes it stick, what gives it the stamp of reality for the subconscious.
Exactly.
But what if someone struggles to feel it?
Mhm.
Especially if, their current reality feels so far from the desire. Do you just force the feeling?
That's a really common question. And no, it's not about forcing some fake hyped up emotion.
Yeah.
Goddard emphasized it's the natural feeling.
Natural feeling.
Yeah, the feeling that would arise if your wish were already a fact. Think about getting amazing news you've hoped for. What do you feel?
Relief, probably. Peace. Maybe a quiet joy. Like, okay, it's done.
Exactly.
Mm.
That's the feeling. Relief, peace, certainty, naturalness.
Yeah.
It's not about fabricating emotion, but tapping into the inevitable emotional response of the fulfilled state. If you really immerse in the sensory details, the feeling often follows naturally. It's the feeling of arrival, not striving.
And for maximum impact, he advises putting your imagination right into that feeling, that state of the wish fulfilled, and falling asleep in it.
Yeah. Yes. Let it remain there and fall asleep in that state. It's a powerful way to impress the subconscious.
Because you bypass the conscious mind's doubts.
Right. The conscious mind is the doubter, the critic, but the subconscious, it just accepts what's impressed upon it, especially in that drowsy state before sleep.
So you're essentially programming it to believe the desire is already real.
Mm-hmm. And that act, that impression, sets in motion a series of events, leading you towards the objective realization. The subconscious starts working behind the scenes, influencing your perceptions, actions, attracting things.
To bring about the physical manifestation. Okay.
Yeah.
This ties into his law of assumption, right?
Yes. And this is where it gets really radical for our usual way of thinking.
Which is?
The law states, an assumption, though false, if persisted in, will harden into fact.
Though false, if persisted in, will harden into fact. So the current facts don't matter, even if everything around you seems to deny your assumption.
According to Goddard, no, they don't matter. It does not matter if at the present moment external facts deny the truth of your assumption. If you persist in your assumption, it will become a fact.
That's huge. But what does persisted in really mean? Especially when reality seems to be screaming the opposite. Is it like gritting your teeth and forcing belief?
Not exactly brute force. Persistence here means maintaining the inner feeling of the wish fulfilled. It's not about thinking about it obsessively 24/7.
Okay.
It's about consistently returning to that felt state, that inner knowing, whenever your mind wanders or doubts creep in. It's a quiet, unwavering conviction within you that the desired state is real, regardless of appearances.
Like planting a seed and trusting it's growing underground even before you see a sprout.
Beautiful analogy. Yes, you nurture it with faith, with that inner feeling, not by constantly digging it up to check if it's working. It requires mental discipline, inner resilience, letting your inner conviction be the primary reality.
Which leads to that other key point that trips people up. Signs follow, they do not precede.
Ah, yes. Crucial.
You don't wait for the proof to show up before you believe or feel it. You adopt the inner state first, then the outer world changes. It feels backward to our logical minds.
It absolutely does feel backward, because we're so conditioned to need external validation first. See it, then believe it.
But Goddard says no, feel it, assume it, then you'll see it.
Exactly. The biggest challenge is cultivating that faith in the unseen, trusting your imagination more than your immediate senses.
Shifting from reactor to projector.
Yes. Being okay in that gap between the inner assumption and the outer manifestation, understanding that any apparent lack is just the current shadow, not the ultimate reality defined by your inner state.
That's a profound shift. Moving from reaction to conscious creation. And this really highlights the consequences of our mental diet, doesn't it? How those inner conversations have real, tangible effects.
Absolutely. It brings responsibility right home. Goddard is very clear. A man's mental conversations attracts his life.
So if your inner talk doesn't change,
The personal history of the man remains the same. Simple as that. No change inside, no change outside.
that's quite direct. Sobering, even.
It is, but also incredibly empowering, I think. Because if your inner conversations are the magnet, then trying to change your life without changing that inner talk.
You're fighting the system.
You're struggling against the very nature of things.
Yeah.
You can rearrange the deck chairs all you want, but if the inner script is the same...
You end up in the same circle of disappointments and misfortunes.
Right. Because the cause is internal. Understand that. And you stop feeling like a victim. You realize you hold the reins.
Because the outer world isn't just vaguely reflecting us, it's showing us self-revelations of our own inner speech, like that echo chamber idea.
And he takes it further. He says, only echo that which we whisper to them in secret.
Wow, so if someone treats you badly, it's an echo of your secret whisper about them, or about yourself in relation to them. That really shifts blame, doesn't it?
Completely dismantles it. It forces you to look inward. If you're consistently getting a negative reaction from someone, Goddard would say, what's the inner conversation you're having about this?
Change the internal whisper.
And the external echo must change. It's not about excusing bad behavior, but recognizing where your actual power to influence the situation lies. It's within you.
Which is incredibly empowering. It means, as the sources say, the conditions and circumstances of life are not created by some power external to yourself.
Right. They're not random.
They are the conditions which result from the exercise of your freedom of choice, your freedom to choose the ideas to which you will respond.
Boom. Freedom of choice. You choose the ideas, the inner states you give your attention and energy to. That puts you firmly in control.
But how hard is it for people to really grasp that level of responsibility? Life can feel so chaotic.
It's profoundly challenging because it means letting go of the comfort of blaming external things. It's easier to feel like things happen to you.
Right, it absolves you.
But Goddard says true freedom, true power, comes from owning your role as the cause. The chaos often comes from unconscious, conflicting inner conversations. Accepting this responsibility means claiming immense power, the power to choose your mental diet. Every moment becomes a choice point.
It reframes everything, even ancient texts, like the idea of the old man versus the new man.
Yes, he interprets that brilliantly, putting off the former conversation, the old man which is corrupt.
Means ditching those old, negative, habitual inner patterns, the ones that created the mess in the first place.
Exactly. It's a mental detox. The old man is that collection of past assumptions, limiting beliefs, reactive inner talk, the corrupt inner speech that keeps us stuck.
And then be renewed in the spirit of your mind, put on the new man.
Signifies consciously changing your inner speech, adopting a new mental diet aligned with who you want to be, the life you want to live.
Because speech and mind are one, a change of speech is a change of mind.
Precisely. Transform the inner dialogue, and the whole mental framework shifts. New perspectives, new feelings, new realities follow. It's about becoming, as he says, master of the word.
But there's also a warning side to this, isn't there? About the destructive power of negative inner talk.
Oh, absolutely. He doesn't mince words. He warns against negative inner talking, particularly evil and envious inner talking, calling them the breeding ground of the future battlefields and penitentiaries of the world.
Wow. Battlefields and penitentiaries. That connects individual thoughts to huge societal problems.
It does. He argues that this misuse of the word perpetuates the violence of the world. When people habitually indulge in inner criticism, resentment, jealousy, judgment.
That internal venom doesn't stay contained.
No. He paints this picture of someone who uses their inner talk to justify failure, criticizes neighbors, gloats over the distress of others, and, in general, pours out his venom. That inner poison, he suggests, leaks out. It attracts conflict, discord, suffering personally and collectively.
A powerful reminder that our inner hygiene affects more than just ourselves.
Definitely. It impacts the whole fabric of society.
Okay, so it's not just about what we want, but also being mindful of the negativity we might be unconsciously creating, which makes the practical application even more important. How do we actually do this? How do we cultivate a better mental diet?
Right. Let's get into the how-tos.
Right.
The sources give us some really concrete techniques. A key one is daily revision.
Daily revision? Okay, that sounds powerful. Reshaping the past to affect the future. Is it about denying what happened?
Not denying it happened, no. It's about rewriting the impact, the emotional and energetic imprint of past events.
Yeah.
You consciously reprogram your experience of it.
How does that work? What do you actually do?
At the end of the day, or any time you feel regret or dissatisfaction about something that happened, you daily relive the day as you wish you had lived it, revising the scenes to make them conform to your ideals.
So you replay it in your mind, but change it.
Exactly. You actively use your imagination to rewrite it. If you had a tense conversation, you replay it, but this time you hear yourself saying the perfect thing, and you hear them responding positively, kindly. You revise it to its ideal outcome.
So if you got a disappointing email, you'd mentally rewrite it to contain good news. Or if you hoped for a call you didn't get, you'd imagine receiving it, feeling happy about it.
Yes. And Goddard says this practice effectively reprograms the subconscious and alters future outcomes.
Does it change the past? Or just the future by changing our present state?
It primarily changes the future by altering your present state in subconscious programming. The historical event might be fixed, but your relationship to it changes.
Ah.
To dissolve the negative charge, the regret, resentment, lack that the original event imprinted.
Yeah.
You break the pattern, your subconscious gets fed the revised, desirable version.
And starts aligning with that reality, attracting different experiences going forward.
Exactly. You stop letting past negativity keep replaying itself in your future.
That's a really practical way to deal with regrets. Okay, what about specific visualization for creating new things? How is that different from just daydreaming?
It's about conscious, deliberate engagement.
Yeah.
Moving from being an onlooker to a participant in the imagined scene.
Participant, not onlooker. Okay, give us some examples. Like wanting a new home.
Right. You don't just think about a new home. Goddard says, imagine that I am actually in such a house. Mentally, step inside.
Touch the furniture.
Feel the floor under your feet, look out the window, move from room to room, feel the atmosphere, and crucially, fall asleep feeling yourself there. Make it feel natural, like it's already yours.
Deep sensory immersion, okay. What about something more abstract, like a promotion?
Same principle.
Yeah.
Embody the state of already having it. Ask yourself specific questions. What new responsibilities would I have? What would I do differently? What would I see, say, hear? Then in imagination, you begin to see and touch and do and act as I would outwardly. Maybe you imagine sitting in the new office, feeling the weight of the role, hearing congratulations, seeing your new title. Get specific. Feel the experience of it.
And for something really personal, like wanting a partner, he mentions a lady imagining feeling a wedding ring.
Yes. I would take my imaginary hands and I would feel the ring. Imagine to be there, persisting until it feels solidly real, then falling asleep with that feeling.
The key, again, being conscious and deliberate engagement, using imagination as a participant, not an onlooker. Why is being a participant so critical?
Because participation means experiencing it first person, with senses and emotions fully engaged. You're not watching a movie of yourself, you are the one experiencing it.
So feeling the ring on your finger, looking down at your hand.
Exactly. That first-person experience makes a much stronger impression on the subconscious. It feels real to you. It bypasses the analytical mind and directly plants the seed of that reality within. The subconscious doesn't distinguish vividly imagined from physically real.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, what about using this power not just for ourselves, but to help others? Mastering the word for them.
This is a really beautiful application. Extending your imagination, your inner conversation, outward with loving intent.
How would you do that? Say, for a friend who's struggling.
You'd enter into an imaginative communion with them. Make their presence real to your senses. Imagine that I am hearing his voice, that he is physically present, that my hand is on him.
Really feel them there.
Yes. Then you have an inner conversation with them, but you converse with them as if their problem is solved, as if they are already in their desired state.
So you don't focus on the problem.
No. You congratulate him on his good fortune, tell him that I've never seen him look better. You listen imaginatively as he tells you he has never felt better, he has never been happier. You hold the vision of their highest good. You see them as they should be.
And you trust that in this loving, knowing communion, that my word was sent and it shall not return to me void. It implies your intention actually impacts them.
Goddard believes so, profoundly. He saw our imagination as the mouth of God. When you speak that inner word for another with love and conviction, you're mediating God's grace to them.
Not manipulating, but seeing their divine perfection.
Exactly. And because the creative word cannot return void, it must manifest. It suggests we're all interconnected in this divine field, and loving imagination reverberates. It's an act of compassion, of co-creation.
So these aren't just one-off exercises. It's about a daily mental diet, a conscious practice.
Yes, an ongoing commitment, like a physical diet, but for the mind. You consciously choose to feed into our minds only loving, noble thoughts.
And actively starve it of negative inner conversations, arguments, criticism, blame, gloating.
Right. It requires vigilance, especially at first. Old habits die hard. But it's not about fighting negative thoughts.
What then?
You acknowledge them, Then gently but firmly redirect your inner conversation towards your ideal, towards love, towards gratitude. It's a continuous process of redirection.
And this connects to ancient wisdom, too. Like the Hermetica saying, mind and speech are divine gifts.
Gifts that make us unique. The Hermetica says these two gifts are equivalent to that of immortality, and using them rightly aligns us with the immortals.
What does that mean, to differ in nothing from the immortals? What kind of state is that?
It implies tapping into our inherent divine nature. By mastering your inner world through mind and speech, you transcend ordinary limitations. You become a conscious co-creator.
Not subject to fate, but an architect of reality.
Exactly. Operating from a higher dimension where your thoughts and words have creative power. It suggests experiencing a level of mastery, freedom, peace that comes from knowing your true creative identity, living from that divine perspective.
Okay, that's deep. But let's bring it back to earth a bit with some real-world examples. These case studies really show the principles in action, don't they?
They really do. They make it tangible. Like the story of the girl and her employer.
Right. She believed he was unfair, criticized her, rejected her best work.
And this belief wasn't just a thought. She was mentally arguing with him all day long, living in this inner conflict.
Which Goddard said was a sure sign that she herself was in need of a new conversation piece, because others just echo our secret whispers.
Exactly. Her inner world was projecting onto him. So recognizing this, what did she do?
She changed the inner dialogue. Instead of arguing, she imagined that he had congratulated her on her fine work and that she in turn had thanked him.
She replaced the negative with the ideal, rehearsed it, felt the relief and gratitude, changed her mental diet regarding him.
And the result? The behavior of her employer reversed itself. It echoed her mental conversations with him. A direct mirror.
Powerful demonstration. Shows how inner attitudes shape others' behavior towards us.
Then there's Neville's own story. The Barbados trip back in '33. He wanted to go, but had no money.
A classic impossible situation. Seems like a dead end based on external facts.
But his friend introduced him to the power of imagination, explaining the many mansions idea.
Right. The desires are like rooms you can mentally inhabit. Gave him the framework.
So Neville's action was simple, but consistent. For a month, night after night, as I fell asleep, I assumed I was sleeping in my father's home in Barbados.
Not thinking of Barbados, but from it. Feeling himself there as he fell asleep, night after night.
And then the invitation arrived. He sailed in December. It proved it to himself.
Yes, it solidified his belief in the savior in himself.
Yeah.
His own imagination. Undeniable proof for him. Signs followed. They didn't precede. He created the feeling first.
That experience must have been foundational for his whole teaching.
Absolutely pivotal.
Yeah.
Made it real, not just theory. Showed the law of assumption works regardless of lack.
Okay, and the young girl on the streetcar, that one's so poignant.
17, grieving her father, empty house, waitress job, rainy Christmas Eve in San Diego. Just bleak.
And in that despair, what did she do?
An incredible leap of imagination. On the streetcar, she vividly imagined the rain was spray from the ocean. Her tears were the salt of the sea and the wind. San Diego became the Bay of Samoa.
She didn't just see it, she felt it intensely.
Totally immersed herself. Let the imagined warmth and beauty of Samoa overwrite the cold, rainy reality. Her whole being aligned with it.
And the result was astonishingly precise.
10 days later, news of an inheritance. A month later, she sailed for Samoa. And as she arrived, she experienced the exact salt of the sea and the wind and spray in the air she'd imagined.
Wow. What made her imagination so potent then? What can we take from that?
I think it was the absolute immersion, perhaps fueled by her deep need for a different reality. She didn't just wish, she became it internally. She creatively reinterpreted her immediate senses rain, tears as parts of her desire.
So not escaping reality, but reinterpreting it through the desired lens, saturating her inner world.
Yes, until it felt so real, the outer world had to conform. Her intense sensory focus convinced her subconscious, which then orchestrated the events.
Incredible. And finally, the lady and her daughter-in-law, a great example of revision for relationships.
Yeah, estranged for 2 years. No contact, gifts ignored. Painful situation.
Instead of forcing contact, she used revision for 7 nights.
She mentally constructed 2 letters, one from her grandson, one from her daughter-in-law, expressing love and connection. She read them in her mind.
Until she felt the satisfaction of having heard. She sustained that ideal outcome internally.
That sustained immersion is key. The reading engaged her imagination intensely. Achieving the satisfaction meant she reached the feeling of the wish fulfilled. She inhabited the reality of reconciliation.
And the result. On day 8, an actual letter arrives.
Containing two letters that practically duplicated the imaginary letters, an almost exact mirror.
It vividly shows how revision can seemingly rewrite reality, even complex relationships, underscores that mirror effect again.
Definitely. She changed her inner assumption about the relationship, and the daughter-in-law's actions reflected that change. It suggests our inner dialogue about others profoundly shapes their behavior towards us. 1. Harmony. Look within first.
These stories really drive it home, but underlying all this practical stuff is that deep divine connection Goddard talks about, right? It's more than just self-help.
Absolutely. This elevates it. It's about the nature of creation itself. He keeps coming back to that core truth. Your own wonderful human imagination that is God.
There is no other God.
In your own wonderful human imagination.
Yeah.
The power isn't out there somewhere. It's inherent within you. Your imagination is the divine creative spark.
And that connects to imitating God. Be imitators of God as dear children. How do we do that?
Well, how does God create? Goddard points to the Bible. God calls things that are not seen as though they were seen, and the unseen becomes seen.
So creation through imagining and speaking into being?
Exactly. And we imitate that when we vividly imagine our desire as fulfilled, feel its reality.
Yeah.
We're calling the unseen into being, using the same creative principle.
And again, the Hermetica emphasizes mind and speech as these unique divine gifts, equivalent to immortality, leading us to the troop of the gods.
Using these gifts rightly means tapping into that immortal divine nature within us, differing in nothing from the immortals. It suggests we become co-creators, operating with a mastery and freedom beyond ordinary limits.
Because life is the union of word and mind.
Yes. Recognizing your divine inheritance and living from it.
So the Word of God isn't just an ancient text, it's our inner talking.
That's his radical interpretation. In the beginning was the Word. That Word is your own inner conversation. The mouth of God is the mind of man.
Our inner conversations are the Word of God creating life about us as we create it within ourselves.
Brings it right into our immediate experience. The creative power is in your mouth and in your heart that you may do it. Your inner world is the crucible where reality is forged.
And ultimately, using imagination and inner speech consciously for our ideal is actively bringing heaven to earth.
Yes, it's not just personal gain. It's a spiritual purpose, especially when you imagine lovingly for others.
You're mediating God to that one.
Exactly. Using your divine faculty as an instrument of love, harmony, beauty. It's through this active, voluntary use of imagination that the second man, the Lord from heaven, is awakened in man.
Your awakened divine consciousness.
Yes, using its power for the good of all, building heaven on earth, one conscious thought at a time.
So wrapping this up, what's the core takeaway for you, the listener, trying to navigate life today?
I think the main message is your inner world conversations, imagination. That's the real engine room. That's the cause.
And by consciously managing that inner world, living from the feeling of your wish fulfilled.
You stop just reflecting life. You become the effector of life. You move from reaction to conscious creation.
And the world becomes, as Goddard said, a magic circle of infinite possible mental transformations. Limitless potential.
Yeah, the only limits are the ones we hold in our own inner dialogue. Change that dialogue, and you unlock that infinite potential.
So here's the final thought to ponder. If what you do in your imagination is the only important thing, and our inner words really do advance into the future to confront us as wasted or invested words,
then what masterpiece will you start speaking into being today? What legacy will your mental diet leave?
it's a call to action, really. Observe your inner conversations, choose them wisely, inhabit the feeling of your wish fulfilled, try revision, try visualization.
The power is truly within you. Your inner world is the canvas, imagination is the brush. Go paint the life you desire.
And that brings us to the end of this deep dive into Neville Goddard's mental diet. We really hope this gave you some profound insights and practical tools.
Yeah, hopefully some things you can start applying right away.
If you found this valuable, please do like and subscribe to the Monkey Mind Mechanics channel.
And join us again here on the Timeless Wisdom Podcast. Thanks for listening.